Good morning, people of the earth.
We interrupt our program at the request of the White House. This is a test.
Some very strange events have been taking place recently.
The emergency broadcast system. This is only a test. Furnishing news, official information, and instruction as soon as possible.
Is there a point to all this? Let's find a point. The world is like a ride at an amusement park.
This is only a test.
This is just a ride. And we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. A choice right now between fear and love.
A small group of warriors have taken up the fight on your behalf.
It's been activated to keep you informed.
The earth is where we make our stand.
You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful.
People of the earth.
People of Earth.
People of earth.
If you are not
People.
tuned to a station furnishing information for your area.
This is Jack Nicholson. We're back. All right, we're back. This is Jack Nicholson, and we're back for the 10th episode of the People of Earth podcast. I'd like to thank my beautiful angels. My beautiful angels. Now I'm going into a Macho Man Randy Savage. My beautiful angels. I want to say thank you out there, all of you, for your support. Did you see Spider-Man 1? You remember him?
Yeah.
You got 3 minutes with me. I held up all the fingers except for 3 there.
He goes,
You got
Bonesaw is ready.
Bonesaw. Macho Man Randy Savage.
You're going nowhere.
You're going nowhere. You're locked in here with me for 3 minutes. Snap it to a Slim Jim, Spider-Man.
Come back here, bug. What is he?
That was a little Hulk Hogan.
Think so?
Spider-Man.
HH, brother.
HH, brother. HGH, brother. That's what I fed my wife and kids. Hell yeah, dude. Well, it's good to be back. It's good to be back in the studio with you, my brother, Quinn.
Yeah, good to see you, Sue.
It's good to see you. It was good to see you last weekend out on the boat show.
Oh, man. I had a blast. Everybody who went with me.
You were
Couldn't
rolling
stop talking
deep.
about
You
it.
brought a squad.
Yeah.
A little squadron.
Yeah. I brought everybody who's anybody.
Yeah.
I already know.
You were rolling lists with a deep. You guys all had coats on and drinks underneath them, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to alert security. I said yes. He's got an entourage, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Shades on all night. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's dark. Shades on.
It was a good time, dude. It was really good to see you guys. You brought the family through. You brought your girlfriend. We had a good show. We thankfully had good weather.
Mm-hmm.
I think you were there for the most packed, the one we sold out.
Yeah.
It was badass.
I'm
I had
so
a great
glad.
time.
I mean, it was great. It was great. I mean, the atmosphere, and yes, the weather was great. It was a little windy for like 5 minutes, and then.
But it's worth
perfect.
it, right?
So worth it.
Like, oh my God. All right. So I've been back for a couple weeks now from my little lovely jaunt in Texas, where I fell in love
Yeah.
with the Wild West, or it's not even the West. This is the West, but it doesn't feel like it. Dude, just the outdoor shows have been so brutal. Just being, I think I mentioned, betwixt parking meters and now the wind blowing. It's like, I did this one Thursday where we're like in an outdoor plaza, like between financial buildings,
Right.
you know, like just a walkway. And someone has a restaurant on the bottom floor in one of those buildings, and they were like, let's have a comedy show here. But the zoning for the seating, they can only have them like hugging the wall. And then the performers are like 20 fucking feet over here. So, and then the wind is it's a wind tunnel in there. The mic is picking it up. Our eyes are watering. It looks like we're crying because our dreams are dying. It was fucking brutal, dude. And yeah, at least on the boat, the wind is worth it.
Yeah, that's a good point. It sounds brutal in that wind, like trying to speak, and the wind is just.
Okay, so yeah, exactly. It's that. Then it's, you know, the trains, the sirens, everything that comes with being outside. I think we mentioned it on a previous episode that you're being heckled by the world. It's all the fucking elements, and then literally the elements, the wind blowing in your eyes, literally crying in front of people. It was so fun. Like 3 of the comedians were like, just, ugh. Yeah, it sucks. It's like I'm not trying to talk down on anybody's show. Like everyone is doing the best they can to adapt to all this. I do, however, also feel like we could somehow be doing more. I don't know what it is, what it would be, but shelter the comedians from the elements a little bit. Create a little stage or it's a booth. I don't fucking know.
I feel like everybody's just trying to weather the storm. Everybody's just waiting until it's over, right?
Which is, now we're just about there. But it would be nice if some of these outdoor shows are fun, and it would be cool to see them like endure. And like some clubs are starting to do outdoor and indoor shows. So, so like this other one, I fucking Saturday. Saturday I had these 2 shows at this spot, and they do indoor and outdoor shows. I was booked indoor. Show up, I'm on the lineup for outdoor.
That's so annoying.
All right, so so fucking annoying. And I'm like, I'm not gonna be a diva about it. If you could throw me up for a guest spot on the inside, so I could do like do 3, that'd be fucking awesome. If not, whatever. And not only am I outside now, the neighbors complained and took away the microphone. So now we're street performers.
Oh my God.
And it could just be fucking anybody walking up and just deciding that, hey, my set just started. And at least I've got a voice where I can project a little bit. Throw to the back of the room.
We should start a show called Comedy in the Elements.
There are already a lot of those shows. They're just not called that, but
just go to the most extreme of places, though. Like
Elon's flamethrowers, just 2 of them.
Yeah.
And you're just like right beyond the flames, just sweating.
Hurricane Irene.
Somehow that would be better. Somehow being in front of 2 just out of reach of getting burned, but being real hot the entire. No, that wouldn't be better. Being zapped would be fun if we had like a little like mini or one of those TENS units, like the things that they use for muscle therapy that just kind of like.
Being zapped would be fun. Is that what you said?
No, it wouldn't be fun, but it would be funny.
Oh yeah.
When I was in Houston, they told me about this show where they have a professional fighter come and beat up the comedians.
What?
Yeah, and I was like, you guys, I love you, but you're doing it wrong. Yeah, exactly. For what? And it's the spectacle of it, I guess. Or like in San Francisco, they have shows where you do a little bit of your set, and then you get high, and then you come back and do more of your set. And then in Houston, they have shows where you do a little bit of your set, you get beat the fuck up for 3 minutes, and then you come back and try to deliver your closer.
I don't even.
It sounded so stupid, but so funny.
That's
so yeah, maybe Comedy in the Elements. Just literally torture people, but write it into the contract like, hey, you signed up for it.
Well, that looks like Sesame Street compared to being kicked the shit out of before you come back.
Body shots. And he's like, come on. What's the deal with movies? Man. Yeah, so then I'm fucking just, I felt like I was a street like performer, and then just like, I wasn't asking for tips, but somehow without a microphone, I felt like I was inherently asking for tips. I don't know what that is about, but I felt more desperate. But, it was really cool. At that show though, 2 young ladies from the boat show that you were at, they were right in the front row that night. We're right in the front row at this show.
Whoa, that's awesome.
And so they were like, whoa, you're getting around. And I was like, yeah, you know it. I'll be out here on my hustle. I keep my nose to the grindstone and work hard.
It's me. I get in the ring every day.
It's me, Rocky. No.
That's cool though to see that that follow you.
Well, I don't think that was what it was. I think they were comedy fans, and then they were like, it was affirming that I'm on the circuit, and they were like, okay, we're comedy fans. You're clearly a guy that we should keep an eye on because we're going to be seeing more of you.
Well, I think it's fair to say they're fans of your comedy then.
Yeah, well, yeah, they enjoyed my set again and then bought them a drink and we had a good time, took a picture, and yeah, nice. That was fun. God, and then last night, do this outdoor show on Mother's Day, which, first of all, Mother's Day shows are always poorly attended, and they're generally by unhappy people. Because,
really?
I'm speaking in broad strokes right now. If you could find like a brunch comedy show or an early, like a 6 o'clock, or I don't know, like a dinner show, maybe moms would love it. Also, depending on the comedian where it's at. But just like a showcase night where there's like, you know, it's not something that you would be taking your mom to. Like, I'll put it this way. There were no moms at the Mother's Day show that we did, you know?
Right.
Everyone that was there was like either missing their mom or happy to have nothing, you know, nothing. Yeah, just they were not the most fun group of people. And it's like this outdoor lot that the guy was telling me used to just be like a needle field that they like cleaned out. And anyway, nice people that owned it there. Nothing to do with them. It was just this crowd this night. It was like 8 people. So the promoter, you know, didn't promote the show, which is not uncommon in San Francisco or anywhere really. I went to New York one time and there was this like club at or like these shows at a Rent-A-Theater thing. And I was like, oh, cool. We're going to be in like a little rental theater. And it's only like a 40-person capacity. So they'll probably have it packed out. 40 people's easy. Show up and there's fucking 6 people there. Wow. and then the promoter and his girlfriend. And it's like, yeah, anyway. So it's just, you show up and you're like, okay, it's going to be one of these shows. And by the time that they got to me, that's one of the ones that you really want to go up early on and just, you know.
Get it with. Was your mom there?
No. Oh. My dad is smart and took my mom on a little vacation for Mother's Day. And so they were in a hotel watching movies and getting room service all weekend with a vape pen. That's having beautiful. A good old time. Yeah, he gets it. Yeah. All right. That's a man that gets it. And
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, seriously. Little trips. Little trips. Little trips are little memories. Little trips are little memories. You string those together, you end up with a lifetime. And a longer story. A love story. What was not a love story was the story of this show, though. I'll tell you that. I'll finish my rambling with this is that, yeah, it was just like 8 people. They were not having comedy. So like by my second joke, I was like, do you guys even like comedy? Like, do you want to be here? Do you want this? They clearly didn't want material. So then they laughed at that and they just wanted to be engaged. So it was like, okay, it's one of these shows. They want to do crowd work.
Were they quiet or just mean?
They were just like,
oh no.
like wax figures.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird.
And the kind of emotionless people that would not be with their mother on Mother's Day. I say as I'm on stage performing a show without my mother, but she was in a hotel, so I cooked brunch for my grandma. I had a great day. Anyway, so it's also this fucking wireless microphone. These outdoor shows, my God, wireless microphone, and it's getting feedback based on where you touch it and where you hold it, but also where you stand. Basically, there's nothing you can do right. It's gonna just be going. Yeah. Just making these fucking weird ass whistling noises and just sounding like there's wind and just and
so intrusive.
Oh, it's fucking brutal. So like the second you start to get a little bit of momentum and it was a wireless mic, so I just fucking walked inside the restaurant and walked away. I started doing my jokes inside and I was like, I want to be inside. And then I came back out and just did some more crowd work and got out of there. And yeah, it was fun. Crowd work is like it's a fun muscle to flex, but it's like, I don't know. Louis C.K. one time said in an interview, or I forget where, but he was like, if you're not going out every night with a plan, you're wasting your time. And so I had a plan last night where I was like, you know, I want to go out and I want to strategically work to strip the fat off of every one of my jokes and think about the economy of words, the least amount of time to the punch, and just how I can get the fewest words out of my mouth before the funny, you know? And so I had like, you know, this plan, and I had a game plan. I was going in, and it's, you know, you show up to the fucking field with a game plan, and then the game's not happening. You got to play a different game. You're ready for football. Now you got to fucking juggle. So anyway, I'm done shitting on San Francisco shows, but actually, no, I'm not. I'll shit on them for a little bit longer.
Here we go.
All right. One thing that is, God, it's bothering me so much, and I've had so many conversations with in these last 2 weeks since I've been back, is just how much comedy audiences need to be coached a little bit right now. Originally, I was thinking, man, fuck this shit, abandon ship, off to Texas or off to anywhere other than San Francisco, the liberal hub of the world. And God bless them for being liberals and having good hearts. That's not to be ignored or diminished. But once again, at comedy shows, let comedians be comedians. You know, I was having this conversation with a lot of my peers about how much we think we're kind of kowtowing and giving way by pitching to the crowd or kind of hitting, I don't know the right analogy to use, but like we're just hitting them straight down the middle, not playing it safe, but playing it smart, but also playing it safe a little bit because of the narrative that we're being told to stick to. And so we're sticking to it. But there's no outliers taking chances and saying things that fall out of that narrative, because then you don't get work. And so it becomes this kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Scarcity mentality, where it's like, well, I got to get work. I got to get booked. So I got to say the things that I'm supposed to say.
So in other words,
and then everybody falls in line.
In other words, just don't say anything sensitive or else you're going to lose your job.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Comedy has always been about saying those things that are sensitive. And, like I was just watching this documentary, and there was this guy, I forget if it was in Singapore or where, but it was like an international comedy community. And he said that the taboo things I find, or he said that he found, were often the things that were most worth attacking and talking about, because you're just starting a conversation around something that's far more interesting or kind of ethereal and hard to contain and put into a neat and easy box and call it this and say that it's that. I don't know. I'm rambling a little bit here and not being as articulate as I could be, but anyhow.
Well, I hear you. That's where like learning comes in, right? Where people get to learn about new subjects when you get to the boundaries of that.
For sure. And it's about conversations, but it's also fundamentally about freedom of expression and artistry and speech. And like, we wouldn't be where we are today in America if we didn't have guys like Lenny Bruce going into comedy clubs and saying fuck and getting arrested. You could say what you want about comedians saying outlandish things and cry and bitch and moan till your voice is hoarse, but you have the right to do that because these comedians died on fucking hills for you. So I'm so hurt and annoyed by the betrayal and hypocrisy from comedy audiences that enjoy these freedoms on Twitter and use them to condemn the very people in the very art form that earned them those rights. And I'm not saying that, comedians are fucking soldiers or on Capitol Hill signing things into written law, but in a lot of ways, actions speak louder than words, and they were the ones out getting arrested and, saying these things. And again, like, I'm not saying that everybody should be able to just, rant with a bunch of expletives and get standing ovations. It should have artistry and craft. But what I have noticed is that my material was viewed so much more objectively just by removing myself from this region, and it was appreciated as pure comedy. And then when I come back here, it's like I'm even more hyper aware of it, of every time I say a word or approach a topic, even if I'm not saying anything bad. That's the funniest thing about it, is it's like saying Beetlejuice. It's like I'm not saying anything bad about Beetlejuice, but simply by saying Beetlejuice, you invoke Beetlejuice. And it's like, for example, I have this joke where I say the word gender fluid. Mm-hmm. Nothing good or bad about gender. I don't know if you heard it at the boat show. Nothing good or bad about being gender fluid, just gender fluid. Right. Someone is gender fluid. And then you can immediately feel people going through this firewall of PC culture and deciding whether or not they're able to laugh at that. You're at a comedy show. You literally bought a ticket to permit yourself to laugh. That's the purpose of you being there. Anyway, I don't know. Right. So I've been having this conversation with my peers about, like, what do we do about that? Do we run and hide for the hills of where there are sanctuaries of free speech, or do we try to like coach comedy audiences one by one? And it's tough to hold an audience of people accountable for overarching actions in society. But I don't know, when confronted with it, now I'm feeling that inclination to be a little bit more rebellious and to like push back against that authority a little bit.
Well, here's something.
And I'm also, I think, a little bit emboldened by knowing the artistic intention and having written these jokes and knowing that none of them are written disparagingly or punching down in any way. It's just somehow you even get bookers in clubs or like people that will tell you that you shouldn't say. It's like back when comedians first started working dirty, and you would get club owners that would start to say, you shouldn't work dirty. You should really work clean, or you're not going to get, it's just this weird kind of, I have trouble saying censorship, but call a spade, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're going to say something.
Well, I was going to say that it could be, I mean, this is society changing over the comedy scene changing, right? I mean, I think it's the places in which you perform outside the comedy club are what brings the culture in, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it might be an opportunity for this new generation of comedians, whoever figures out how to play that field safe while being funny, And
Oh yeah, I mean that's out there.
right.
You will see a lot if you go to the, you could go to any. I mean, we'll just say the San Francisco Punchline, for example. You could go there and you will see the comedians that have learned how to navigate the minefield. And it's not, I will say it's not playing it safe. It's playing it smart. I'm not going to denigrate them by saying that they're playing it safe, but I don't know. Part of me feels like a little bit of the part of the fun of comedy is setting off a couple of those mines and being like, oh shit,
Yeah.
or I don't know. Not that anybody, and nobody needs to get hurt. They could be controlled demolitions, but everyone, and I find often the people that get offended are not, that don't belong to those groups that the joke in question is even about. They're just getting vicariously offended, often because of the region that they live in and because of the social norms that,
Right.
they parrot to each other all day. Anyway.
It could be an opportunity, it's a hindrance right now, but it could be an opportunity for something new. Don't you think?
I think, okay. So that's a slippery slope because something new can turn into like alt comedy and Nanette and things that are like very self-referential and not necessarily like, I don't know. I'm not going to explain that one too much because that's going to incur a lot of negative feelings. But,
Gotcha.
If you want to do purely stand-up, you have to maintain some fundamental verbal contract with the audience and agreement about what a comedy show is. And if you change that too much, then it just becomes something different. And then, then now we're doing that thing, but it's just not what we were doing before.
Right, I hear you.
And, I was going to say something before that. Say what you said again.
I was saying it could be an opportunity for something new.
Yes. Okay. So what I think it does do is I think it hones, like comedians in San Francisco probably have so much more sensitivity for how the audience is perceiving them and their material than a lot of other places. Because a lot of other places, it's just you're being judged on whether or not you're funny. But in San Francisco, you're going through all of these other hoops and jumps and leaps and checking boxes and all that. And I think that if nothing else, it's teaching us to be a lot more in tune with the audience as far as the conversation that we're having in our set. It's teaching people how to be a little bit more nimble and acrobatic on stage in terms of like pivoting. It's also teaching you how to find a nerve or a narrative and stick to it. Like I said, those people that you will see that have found the way to navigate the minefield. Like it's, we're all learning how to go through the labyrinth. The question is the labyrinth the quickest way from A to B being funny? We're all having to run a fucking maze when it's just A to B. It's just funny. But we're having to learn how to be Tom Cruise in the lasers and not get our dick buzzed off.
Right. I don't know. I was just trying to come at it from a different perspective because if there's a way to disengage those lasers from the beginning, then I mean, imagine what you can do with an even more diverse crowd, an even more sensitive crowd once their guns are down.
Absolutely. And empathy is never a bad thing. So liberalism is not a bad thing. And, I'm not saying that kind of system should be dismantled. The looking out for each other, the feeling for each other, the being sensitive for each other. I'm just saying that there has to be a way in which we can keep our contract intact, that we're here to make each other laugh, and that none of these things are, anyway. But I agree with you that there should be some way. That's why it's so important to have a good opener, like a good first joke.
Yeah.
To set an understanding and a contract for just that set between you and the audience, and be like, okay, this is where we meet. Where we go from here is kind of up to me. And I'll see how much I can keep the herd intact. But this is where we all start, and hopefully we all start together here. Yeah. And so with that mentality in mind, the kind of shepherding, I want to try to, I don't know, I certainly don't want to be the person to die on this hill, and I hope that other people would kind of take up this charge too. But I would like to think that that we don't all have to fucking leave and go to Texas. That we could all find a way to, again, restore that contract in San Francisco, in LA, in New York, all of these places that are starting to kind of, the foundations of these comedy clubs are kind of crumbling because the audience and faithful patrons keep chipping away at it and chiseling every time they're in there. Can you imagine going into a building and every time you're in there, you chip off a little piece of the wall and take it home with you? After a while, the building is just going to collapse. And that's like what comedy fans are doing in these clubs. It's like every time you forget that contract and you start to try to like police, you just chipping away at the foundation. Anyway.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Frustrating, and now I'm ranting.
It's no problem. It's interesting because from somebody looking from the outside in to this type of community, it's interesting to see how they're being affected by the changes in society, especially one that requires so much connection with strangers.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, it's nobody wants to burn any bridges. And if anything, it's just how do we re-strengthen that bond again? Nobody wants to walk an audience member or lose out on part of the crowd and not have everybody on board. You want that whole herd intact. So, I don't know. I've had a bit of a mentality change about not wanting to just jump ship and go to places that are more overtly supportive,
right?
And try to just, make my way here a little bit longer and, see what I can do.
I think you got it, man. You could do it.
Well, I fucking hope it's not all me. I don't want to, believe me, I don't want to be that guy dying on that hill and be the one, comedian that's, the Chronicle is writing about for saying whatever the fuck in whatever set. I would love it if, anyway.
No, you can hold your own. I
mean, and I'm not going to make any stupid decisions either and be overtly controversial or anything like that. That's never been my style. It's just, I want people to just laugh and have a good time. To me, it could all be so simple.
When you get up there, the aura that you have is very welcoming and very friendly. I think that that's what you need to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you're already hitting that. So maybe, I don't know, play off of that. And I think you're better than you think you are. It may be frustrating, but I think you could get away with saying a little bit more.
Well, I appreciate that. And my buddy Matt Watt is very supportive. He and I started together, and he was saying a lot of the same things. And he's like, I just want you to stop kind of hiding and playing that game. And people hopefully will follow suit and stop hiding from themselves or hiding themselves as well. So I don't know. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying. I just want everybody to come in for a group huddle, have a good time for however long I'm there. And then we split off back to our lives and do whatever the fuck we got to do. But yeah, I just think that there's so much other shit that we could be focusing on as far as our attention and energy. If we're going to get upset about shit, there's a lot of shit to get upset about.
Yeah.
And, if we're going to rally behind a cause, I agree that we weeded a lot of bad and problematic people out of the picture. We made a strong statement about being sensitive to other people in whatever art form you're in. You know, now that we've removed comedians, we've removed songs, we've removed movies, we've removed sports teams from conversations because they were problematic. Now that we've had that understanding, maybe now we can focus on rebuilding rather than continuing to chip away. I think now we've got to the, you know, a core understanding where you see our side and we see your side kind of a thing.
Yeah. But then it's working on both sides to build that up to its former glory.
Hopefully. We'll see.
All right.
But yeah. Back to the boat shows. We had a great fucking time out in the bay.
Hell yeah.
We had Craig Conant up from LA. The hilarious Craig Conant, Loosey Goosey himself. He's out on a national tour that he just announced all of his dates today.
Wow.
It's fucking wild. It was such an honor to have him and grab him before he went off on that.
Damn, good for him. Good luck, man.
It was so funny. I picked him up from the airport, and he kind of like had this bewildered look on his face, and I was like, "You good? Your flight was all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, man. I'm just like, you know, I got this new manager, this new agent guy, and you know, he just keeps sending me emails with all this work, and it's like I've never had where I look at my calendar and all this shit's filled up, and it's like everything I've ever wanted, and now I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, all right, like here we go. I got this." And I was like, "You do got this, dude. You know you got it." And he does. He's very fucking funny, and he's going to go out and kill that shit and be a household name in no time. He was a name in my household for a week. I had him staying in an air mattress in my place, farting it up with my grandma. We had a good time.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, we had a good old time. We did those 4 shows, sold out that one that you were at, and then afterwards went out for some good old diner food, and that's always a classic comedy weekend must.
Yeah.
Getting some dirty burgers and shooting the shit about the weekend and licking our wounds if we have any and celebrating our victories as they were the many at that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Many a good memory made. I thought everyone did great too. Progressively better throughout the weekend, which was nice to see. That's like the beauty of a comedy club format where you have like 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, is that first show Friday, you're going to have some feelings about. Friday late show, you're like, right on. You know, you have your notes from the first show. You implement a couple things in that late show. The crowd is usually pretty shitty on Fridays. It's just people have a work week and then they go out drinking and they're still tired from work. So by the time like 9:30 rolls around, they're like, come on, buddy.
Yeah.
I could be at home jerking off right now. I could be ignoring my girlfriend at home. So yeah, but then Saturday everybody comes in and they're like, we're gonna fucking get it tonight. And it's like a boxer that got touched up a couple times in the first round, and that second round they come out fucking swinging. And it's usually a second or third round knockout.
I can feel it. I mean, you guys had it down. You had just the movements and everything. You know, everything was set up and it was great and everything looked great and just well done, man.
Thanks, dude.
Well done.
That's like the most. It sucks promoting, producing, and hosting a show. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of legwork. It's a lot of stress selling tickets and like getting the word out and setting everything up and then breaking everything down. And you don't get to like say hi and bye to everybody because you got to be up there doing that shit. But like it's so gratifying to deliver on an experience like that. It's like I'm glad that you're here to confer a little bit and confirm how fucking rad it is. But you tell people a show on a boat and they're like, "What is this fucking Forrest Gump? Am I going to be Lieutenant Dan up in the front row and you're up there waving on the stage?"
On the Gen A.
But then like you're out there and you're like, oh shit. And it's funny to watch the comedians during their sets. Like they'll go under the Bay Bridge or something and then they'll just be like looking up at the city for a second and be like, oh shit, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm here telling jokes.
That was the best part is you weren't in like, or I guess just the environment was so, there was so much going on, so much to look at. But when you could take your focus off of that and watch the comedy happening right in front of you, that tells you something about those comedians who were there and just the whole atmosphere of the show. I mean, it was drawing my attention as we were going under the Bay Bridge.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and look,
it was hard to do.
I'll be real. And a lot of comedians understand this. They just don't like to admit it. Not everybody's going to like you.
Yeah.
You know, not every comedian is for everybody. And so the cool thing about this show is like, usually you're stuck at a bar or stuck at a brewery or stuck at a club, and the person you don't like, you're kind of like, okay. And you're either waiting or you go to the bathroom or you go outside. But for this one, you could just look to the right and you're on a cruise in the bay and there's fucking San Francisco all lit up. And you look to the left and there's Alcatraz and Angel Island. And then you look right back and maybe that joke, they've got you back in. But yeah, you can take little mental breaks, which the comedians also have to do if a joke isn't going well. And they're like, okay, let's ground myself here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good
But I don't
point.
think anyone really did poorly. I think everyone was cold. That's another thing I like stress to everybody. Bring a blanket. It's fucking cold up there, but it is worth it.
Yeah, Craig selling hoodies, it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea. I talked to him afterwards, and he had sold out almost all his stuff.
Yeah,
except for smalls. I
he
think.
sold everything but 3 smalls, and he brought like one of those big like marine duffel bags that look like they're deploying for the rest of their lives. And yeah, he was funny about that too. He was very like older brotherly about that, where he was like, "Yo, come here and sit down with me, and let me show you why merch is so important." Because he reached out and was like, "Yo, can I sell merch?" And I was like, "Bring all of your hoodies. It's a cold ass show, so if you have anything in your store or in your stock, like this is a good time to come and burn them."
Yeah.
And he had just gotten all these new loosey goosey hoodies that are really nice quality too. Yeah, he was like, it takes this weekend, like whatever contract, whatever agreement you have with the venue or the promoter, whatever they say they're going to pay you, and then it turns it into this kind of weekend, because then you have all of your own revenue from all these merch sales, and it's all directly to you. You pay, however much you pay to get all that made, but then you make whatever keep whatever you make a profit.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's a good place to do business because everybody's trapped in the damn boat.
Well, and it's he was like, this gave me, with all the shows that I was doing and touring in 2019, he said this gave me enough money to survive in a global pandemic.
Yeah, okay.
And he's like, and I cannot stress that enough. He was like, in the year when shit went down and none of us knew what the fuck was going to happen, I was okay because I brought fucking t-shirts and hoodies out on the road with me. And I was like, okay, right on. That's how we make our bread and butter, kind of like how musicians, they don't really make their money off of album sales. It's all touring.
Right.
And then their girlfriends are selling merch and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a really fun educational weekend to watch him work on his set, his interaction with the crowd. And it's been really, really cool to have these back-to-back experiences of watching like young rising stars becoming headliners, like Allie and Craig, who are both like in this kind of, I would say, out of the cocoon now at this stage, but like, have been going through this transformation to level up. Yeah, it's just been wild to watch. And speaking of headliners, your boy got a couple ditties in the work. Couple big old ditties. I got a pair of big old ditties. All right, I got one in Reno and I got one in Arizona. A pair of big old ditties. I'm fucking excited, nervous. I'm gonna shit my pants on stage and talk about it, and then I'll sell my pants for merch. That's what I'll do. That's my plan.
It's part of the set.
It's part of the set. It's part of a literal set that you get afterwards. The underwear I throw into the crowd like a bouquet. Whoever gets them, they headline the next show. I don't know.
Dude. Sick.
I'm fucking stoked, dude. So yeah, we're kind of like a lot is happening right now. I have a bunch of local shows coming up that I'm really excited about, but unfortunately I don't have my calendar in front of me to plug. But off the top of my head, like Peter Bomber's put me on some shows. He's a hilarious dude. Doing some stuff at Alameda. I've been doing some Janesh and Marty Cunny shows. And then, okay, Comedy on the Bay returns at the end of this month. We're back May 28th, 29th, and 30th. We're doing 3 days, 6 shows.
Okay.
Fucking 3 days, 6 shows, dude. That's makes me nervous, but I'm very excited. We're going to do different special guests each day too. So it's going to be like, a different lineup each day, kind of with the same feature and headliner. We've got Irene 2, who's a local legend. Hilarious was just up here headlining the Alameda Comedy Club.
Nice.
And used to work with her at Cobb's and the Punchline all the time. And we've got Stephen Fury coming up to headline from the Comedy Store in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
Recently a paid regular there. He tours with Bert and a bunch of other, big names, and is now becoming, is part of that next wave. It's another one of those. We really got 2 headliners for one, and Irene was cool enough to come and feature because our feature dropped out. But yeah, we basically have a co-headliner show.
That's so sick.
6 of them.
Wow.
Over 3 nights.
Damn.
Holiday weekend.
Say it again.
6 shows, 3 nights. Holiday weekend. A Memorial Day to remember.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Nice, dude.
We got, different guests each night. That's going to be really fun. We're bringing someone up from SAC on Friday, someone up from Reno, and someone up from LA on Sunday. And then, this week, I think this episode comes out on Wednesday, and Wednesday night, I'm going to be in Reno doing my little stint. Reno, I'm headlining this this little dive bar, biker bar, apparently, and they said I can do as much time as I want. So I'm just going to Chappelle it and smoke a pack of cigarettes, do 4 hours, and read my diary on stage. And then I'm doing another one on Thursday, and then this place called The Arch, I think. I forget what the other one is. But yeah, these 3 spots in Reno. And I'm going to circle back and stop through Sacramento on my way home. Pardon me. I'm getting excited and bubbly.
Me too.
And then I come back for that Comedy on the Bay, Alameda Comedy Club. And then I'm doing that weekend with Mikey McKernan up in Savage Henry in Eureka.
Yep.
That's going to be real fun.
That's going to be sweet. That looks
Coming back from that, the world changes. Actually, the world changes on Wednesday because Cobb's Comedy Club reopens.
Ooh.
Live comedy at a comedy club is happening once again.
It's about time.
The long night is over. We've made it. And Wednesday, Cobb's is back. So they open up with a showcase of all the people that used to host and open weekends for bigger names. And it's called Rusty Comics. They're going to come back and warm back up. And then I think it literally as soon as this weekend, they've got headliners back in there.
That's so awesome, dude.
It's fucking rad.
Yeah.
And I think June 15th, the whole state reopens. So Punchline is probably not far behind them. But Cobb's can open first because they are a little bit bigger and they can do reduced capacity, but it's going to still be 120 people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's my home club. So I'm honored and I'm excited for them that they're coming back first. I'm glad they beat Punch to the punch. Cobb's has always been, I love Punchline, but Cobb's is it's huge, and they've got 3 fucking layers. They should have a club the size of the Punchline in the basement. They will. By 2023, if I'm elected president of San Francisco, all right? Make me the new Emperor Norton, all right? I can be the guy. I'll wear one of those British Army coats and walk around with a bottle of absinthe and throw donuts. Wing them off my dick, all right? I'll do all the San Francisco things you like. Do you know in San Francisco it's not illegal to have your dick out if it's unless it's hard?
Yeah, it has to be flaccid.
I like how you can confirm that. Well, that's how you know we live in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one of the headliners telling me that in the green room at Cobb's because he was out for Pride Week. His weekend at the club just happened to be during Pride Week, and so he was we walked down to check it out and see what was going on. A lot of dicks.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I didn't know you could do that. And I thought that was illegal. And they were like, yeah, unless it's hard. And then my thought was well, who's the cop that has to come around and judge and be like, hey, come over here, buddy. Let me feel that, all right? That's getting a little too heavy, all right? I need you to go around the corner.
That's 0.08 hot.
Remove yourself. You're starting to cast a shadow, all right?
If there's 0.08 blood in your dick.
If this weighs 2 more ounces in the next 30 seconds, you're going to be in trouble. We've got a tiny little pair of handcuffs for your balls. You're coming with me.
That was good.
But really, the big announcement is June 6th, Talking After Sets, my baby, my first show, my first club show returns to Cobb's Comedy Club. And I'm fucking stoked. I'm so excited. And it really is a huge honor to be back in like the first wave of club shows. And I'm excited to pack that bitch out. You know, now that we've been selling hundreds of tickets for these boat shows, you know, I just can't wait to pack out the club and, you know, see all the staff again and take care of them and put on a good show, and got a great lineup. And it's just a really, really fun fucking show too. It's a great format. So I can't wait to bring you for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I get to, you know, it was also a huge honor to me that Comedy on the Bay was your first comedy show.
Well, I wouldn't have it any other way, you know.
I would have if I was you, but I love you and I appreciate that all the same.
I had no bar to set, and it blew my mind. So
Boat show is actually a pretty damn good one for a first one.
yeah,
You know, the comedians could have been a little bit, but you know, at least you had Craig.
yeah, I was there for the boat ride.
But yeah, dude, talking after sets will be really fun. I can't wait to bring you to Cobb's for that.
Super
and
excited.
Yeah, maybe we'll like try to shoot something and put something together. I think honestly, you know, so then after that, I got another weekend of Comedy on the Bay. I'm doing some shows in San Diego. Oh, wait, that's in July, but in June is Arizona. So fucking a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
But part of the reason why we have called today's episode, I think we're going to call it the Intermission.
Mm-hmm. The Intermission.
We're going to be taking a brief intermission and be segmenting this project into seasons. This is going to be the end of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
We've made the decision to move out of this space. We've loved this space. It's been so fucking fun to build and to construct and to start this project and to like literally see it coming together before our eyes. And I think if I know us, part of us is excited to fucking do that again somewhere new.
Yeah. You know, I love my spaces.
Hell yeah, dude. We've moved shit around here like fucking 8 times. We can't get enough of it. It's like Transformers in here.
I think it's Desk Star 5.0 now.
We're on 5, yeah. And we're going for double digits soon. But yeah, you know, there's a couple things about this space that were kind of impractical. And so as I wanted to kind of wrap this up by talking about like pushing yourself and following through with projects that you really believe in and that doing the things that you want to do, because it really is as simple as putting your mind to it. You know, for me, it was putting a call out into the universe as far as an ad to find people that were like-minded that I wanted to work with. And then it was finding another ad for an open space. And then it was finding another ad for used gear. And then it was finding another ad for free furniture, and just like things kind of snowballed from there. But just as soon as I decided that I wanted to make this a reality, incrementally, it became more and more real every fucking day. And while we proved that very feasible and possible, and this is the studio that Stimulus built, live within your means and maybe make some smart financial decisions. We definitely probably could have set this up. We have found a pretty cheap spot, but like there's people in here fucking 9 to 5. So we can't record on weekdays until after 5, and then I'm out doing comedy, and then on weekends I'm usually traveling. So like half the time we're paying rent here, I'm not even here. And then there's the noise and shit, so we can't be here during the day. And then other flexibility issues that we don't really have to go into, but another space would give us more opportunities. So we're going to move on to finding that and establish the next kind of moon base, off-world colony, whatever you want to call it.
The satellite.
I feel like satellite sounds like bitch mode. We're building a base, all right? This is an outpost. This is a compound. It's
a space station.
For sure, at least. Satellite here, space station here, moon base. Kind of like moon base. I wish we could have stuck with moon base.
Sorry,
no, you're fine.
For those.
But yeah, we're going to be going through a little bit of a cocoon process ourselves and taking a bit of an intermission here because I'm going to be gone for like fucking 3 months doing a bunch of shit. We will probably be set up before then though, and be not only recording some pre-recorded backlog stuff in this new space, but continuing to come out with other creative productions. Like it'd be fun to videotape some of these shows. God damn it, I need to get some clips. Mm-hmm. I just suck at it. I not only do I forget to set up my phone, but then I'll bring my tripod to a bar and leave it there, which I did on Saturday. So then my Sunday show, not that I wanted to film it fucking anyway because they turn out to be shit in San Francisco, but I can't film it because I left my goddamn tripod. So I'm going to work on being a more responsible human being, making better financial decisions, and bringing my tripod and remembering to bring it home with me. But we're going to take this time to, like, you know, film some of these road shows and maybe try to put something fun together to capture that experience, and then rebuilding our moon base in our new location. But yeah, you know, dream big, just keep the budget small, I guess, is a good...
Keep the budget smart.
Keep the budget smart. Yeah, some things you got to have and some things you want to have because they make your life fucking easier. But like a lot of this was just lumber and free shit. Like when you boil it down to it, it was
There's a lot of sweat.
A lot of sweat.
Free shit.
A lot of sweat and free shit, and, you know, cheap little fixes on Amazon, and then just hunting on Craigslist. Hunting in the wilds of Craigslist, the Badlands, the wilderness, the thickets.
A sanctuary, an oasis.
This has been a little oasis. You know, if we didn't have to pay for parking, rent, and internet, and all the things that kind of like came with it, this would have been the sickest spot ever. And it is right across the street from my grandfather and his old law firm, and it has a lot of sentimental ties, and it's going to be tough to move on because it's also, again, the birthplace of this project. But, you know, it's the project, not the space. Or the project, not the place, or whatever the fuck, however we want to say it, you know?
Yeah. Well, we've done a lot, and we've learned a lot, and
we'll bring that forward to the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you know, there's going to be a bit of an intermission here while I'm out doing shows, while we're establishing the next outpost and rebuilding and inviting some guests in. And hopefully, I think we're just going to, as soon as we can, start getting a bunch of shit backlogged so that when we're ready to drop season 2, it's bing, bang, boom, and you got a bunch of fun interviews and fun hangs. And it'll also be nice to not have, again, the restrictions that we have and we're anticipating in this place when it comes to like getting people in, and you know, time constraints and all that bullshit.
Yeah, we're leveling up.
It's big level up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like literally like when the hero is in chains and then he kind of starts looking around at the guards. He's like, I can fucking get out of these chains. I can fucking. And now we're fighting in an elevator and everybody's going down and we're just like, it's on to the next one. So I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to be taking you on the road to a couple of these spots with me. And yeah, just to be seeing where we end up next and who we end up with. And I promise it won't be too long.
Me too. We're going to be back at you as soon as we can.
Hell yeah.
And,
in the meantime, do me a favor, check me out at Austin Carr Comedy, and you can check out my website at austincarr.live. I try to update that with all my dates for shows, and also follow us at the People of Earth Pod. And we are going to be selling these shirts hopefully soon. I will probably try to get that up in between season 1 and season 2. And have a bunch of clips and content for you in the meantime. And yeah, just can't wait to see you back. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Stay positive out there and keep dreaming. Wow. What an episode. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with your friends. Tell your people. Tell them that they can come be people with our people. And we could all be people of Earth together. Make sure you follow us online. We want to hear from the people, so send us an email, reach out to us, and stay tuned for more. We'll see you next time.
Good morning, people of the earth.
We interrupt our program at the request of the White House. This is a test.
Some very strange events have been taking place recently.
The emergency broadcast system. This is only a test. Furnishing news, official information, and instruction as soon as possible.
Is there a point to all this? Let's find a point. The world is like a ride at an amusement park.
This is only a test.
This is just a ride. And we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. A choice right now between fear and love.
A small group of warriors have taken up the fight on your behalf.
It's been activated to keep you informed.
The Earth is where we make our stand.
You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful.
People of the earth.
People of Earth.
People of earth.
If you are not tuned to a station furnishing information for your area,